Hello, my name is Latrice Williams. I'm a rising junior communication major at Breathitt College, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I am one of the 2012 EPG Cohort 9 members, and I'm here to showcase the value of social media in the form of a traveler persona that encompasses tourist destinations of Breathitt County, Knott County, and one destination from Perry County. I have written over 100 reviews on various social media sites, such as this one entitled Yelp, and also TripAdvisor. Each EPG student wrote various social media reviews on various sites. Here you can see that I've written 18 reviews on TripAdvisor. Some of these include the Buckhorn Lake State Resort, the Country Inn and Suites in Breathitt, and also Zambra, which is a great restaurant in Asheville, North Carolina. These reviews have served as informative pieces for tourists looking to travel to an unfamiliar place, and I really found the value of writing social media reviews. The current issue in eastern Kentucky is that this area is facing some really difficult economic times ever since the 2008 economic recession. My group, which is entitled Keeping Appalachian Locations Digital, which you can find us on Facebook, we went to a Kentucky River Area and Development District meeting in Hazard, Kentucky a few days ago, and we got the opportunity to hear Brian Smith from the 30th Senate District. He talked about the massive layoffs that have hit hard in this region. He stated that over 750 employees have lost their jobs in eastern Kentucky in the coal fields in the past few weeks. Owing to this layoff situation, offshoring, whether it is global or industrial, has created economic uncertainty in the minds of the people of this region. On another note, according to the authors that I have sourced below, these issues can be counteracted by implementing place-based development in categories such as natural resources, arts and crafts, economic gardening, which deals with incubating students in order to help them develop entrepreneurial leadership skills, and lastly, supporting creativity and encouraging talent cultivation in youth as well as the older population. To give you all a little background on Knott County's tourism history, the Knott County Sportsplex was built in 2007, is located 6 miles east of Hyman on Highway 80, and helps stimulate local dollars to local businesses when events are held at this recreation center. It also serves as a multi-purpose facility, which houses a bowling alley, walking track, a baseball court with 5 baskets, outdoor baseball field, arcade, fitness center, and a soccer field. Along with the many elk viewing sites in Knott County, the Sportsplex, since being built, brought in travelers from many cities in Kentucky, such as Louisville, and also travelers from Ohio and West Virginia who come to partake in the many events at the center. Many events are held here, including ATV shows, boat displays, basketball games, and gymnastics on spring floors, which are the only spring floors east of Lexington in Kentucky. The Knott County Sportsplex is part of the Chestnut development, which includes 27 acres that anchored with the Knott County Sportsplex recreation facility. Officials in charge of the Chestnut development plan to encourage people to invest in land in Knott County in order to build hotels, shops, and eateries. Breathitt County is located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains in the eastern coalfield region and was created on April 1, 1839 by an act of legislature. Breathitt County was named in honor of Governor John Breathitt, who served from 1832 to 1834. Breathitt County covers an area of 494 square miles and is bordered by Lee, Wolfe, Magoffin, Knott, Perry, and Owsley counties. According to Steve Bowling, tourists head to Jackson, Kentucky, which is the county seat of Breathitt County, to experience the Honey Festival that is held every Labor Day, the Heritage Festival that is held in October, the War Memorial, the history of Bloody Breathitt, which talks about family feuds which resulted in mass killings, and they also head to Breathitt County to go canoeing on the North Fork of the Kentucky River. After learning about the history and assets of Breathitt and Knott County, and also one of Perry County's assets, I realized that Adam Wilson was interested in traveling here to discover these counties' natural beauty and history. Mr. Wilson is in his 30s and is used to the fast-paced lifestyle as a sales manager in Lexington, Kentucky, where he works over 50 hours a week. He is looking to get away from his lifestyle for a while by using his vacation time to venture away from his job and girlfriend to have some alone time in a quaint place surrounded by nature. Mr. Wilson's limitations for his trip include setting a spending budget of $600, traveling to a place where he can engage in various outdoor activities such as miniature golf and canoeing, and he also wants to have access to Wi-Fi service so that he can receive updates from his girlfriend and employees back home. Mr. Wilson decided to write down everything that he wanted to get out of his trip, so that he would feel satisfied with his visit and also be able to fulfill all of his wants and needs. His travel goals included learning about the history of Breathitt and Knott counties, taking a myriad of photos, and posting updates to Facebook about his travels, shopping for gifts for his girlfriend and himself, and also building a relationship with nature by engaging in outdoor activities. According to the University of Kentucky professor of history, Ronald Eller, in his book entitled Uneven Ground, Appalachia, at the turn of the 21st century, was flooded with suburban tourists seeking to renew their relationship with the natural world, and Mr. Wilson is an example of this fact. Mr. Wilson knew he did not want to spend his vacation time outside of Kentucky, and he also knew that nature and history were his focus. Research by marketing analyst Rob Reed states that 100% of smartphone users access social media services via mobile, not PC. Mr. Wilson confirmed Reed's findings when he began browsing the web via his smartphone and discovered these two sites, KnottCountyAdventure.com and TrailsRS.com. After Mr. Wilson found some destinations he liked on these sites, he began searching for hotels in eastern Kentucky on TripAdvisor. He came across the Hampton Inn in Hazard, Kentucky, and the Buckhorn State Resort Park. Mr. Wilson chose to stay at the Buckhorn because it was closer to the natural world, and also because it had 16 reviews that were rated as excellent and good, which I highlighted here. A few weeks later, Mr. Wilson used his GPS on his smartphone to travel by car on a 112-mile journey to Buckhorn, Kentucky on a Thursday to stay at the Buckhorn State Resort Park, which is in Perry County. Mr. Wilson arrived at the Buckhorn State Resort Park at 2 p.m. After he settled in his room, he rented miniature golf equipment and played 18 holes at his resort's golf course, and he also walked the resort's hiking trail. After 2 hours of playing golf and walking, Mr. Wilson dived into the resort's pool and then relaxed in their jacuzzi. At this time, he was very grateful that Buckhorn had such positive, detailed reviews on TripAdvisor because travelers' opinions really decreased his uncertainty about visiting a place. At 6:30 p.m., Mr. Wilson decided to eat dinner at the dining hall of the resort. There, he chose to order the mouth-watering Buckhorn Hot Brown, and this really filled him up. After doing a lot of physical activity, eating a great hot brown, and resting everything off, at 8 a.m. the next day, Mr. Wilson decided to take a 45-minute drive to Breathitt County, where he would stay until 8 p.m. At 9 a.m., he arrived in Breathitt County, where he spent 3 hours at the Breathitt County Library, War Memorial, and Breathitt County Museum. Here, he retained a better understanding of the history of Breathitt County. Mr. Wilson became interested in the Breathitt County War Memorial, Museum, and Library after reading such reviews as this one by a traveler named Ariel Owens on Yelp. Here you can see that she says that the Breathitt County Museum showcases the history of the community of Breathitt County, and it's also a nice place to visit. After all that learning, Mr. Wilson realized he was hungry. He pulled out his smartphone and signed on to Yelp to determine where he would eat lunch. He decided to eat lunch at the White Flash restaurant, which was just in walking distance of where he came from. And after looking at the menu, Mr. Wilson ordered the White Flash cheeseburger and a fountain drink. It was very delectable. Mr. Wilson's main reason for stopping at this destination was because of the fact that the White Flash restaurant was praised so much by previous travelers. As you can see from the last sentence below, Kelly Brock says that the owner is very sweet and is proud of our restaurant and the food it serves. After Mr. Wilson finished up eating at White Flash restaurant, he hopped in his car and headed to Breathitt Park, where he reserved a spot to rent a canoe in order to ride down the North Fork of the Kentucky River. This venture took him about 5 hours, but Mr. Wilson was not alone during his venture. He actually met up with one of his friends from the area, and they both rode down in a canoe together. Mr. Wilson confessed that he wouldn't have considered coming to Breathitt Park if he never discovered a review he read on Yelp from one previous tourist who talked about this destination as the perfect place to spend one's afternoon or evening. After a long day of canoeing, Mr. Wilson and his friend decided to eat at an authentic Mexican restaurant. They both ordered 2 orders of nacho fajitas and a sweet tea because they were starving after their long canoe ride. Soon after, they said their goodbyes to each other and they headed back to their destinations to rest. At 8 a.m. on Saturday, Mr. Wilson headed out on a 50-minute trip from Buckhorn State Resort Park towards Hindman, Kentucky. When he arrived in Knott County at 9 a.m., he headed to the Golden Apple Fruit Market on Highway 160 to pick up some quick snacks before learning about the history of Knott County. I was glad that my team discovered this fruit market because we were all able to showcase this business on Yelp so that other travelers could locate it in order to buy fresh local produce. After buying some snacks and fresh fruit from the market, Mr. Wilson ventured to the Kentucky School of Craft, Hindman Settlement School, Marie Stewart Museum and Craft Shop, and the Alice Lloyd College to tour these destinations in order to learn about Knott County's history and how these particular establishments developed. This online review on Google Local by me about Alice Lloyd College provided Mr. Wilson with detailed information about what the college encompasses, where it is located, and here is where he also discovered that this institution provides college tours for guests. Oh yeah, and here is the Yelp review Mr. Wilson stumbled upon, which showcased a traveler's experience at the Hindman Settlement School. At 2:15 p.m., Mr. Wilson ventured to the Appalachian Artisan Center and Cafe to get a quick bite to eat. Here he admitted to the cashier that he felt more intuitive about Knott County's history. He ended up ordering the pulled pork sandwich, a cup of fruit, and a fountain drink. Afterwards, he decided to buy a few cookbooks for his girlfriend and a few wall paintings to hang in his office from the Appalachian Artisan Center. At 4:30 p.m., Mr. Wilson arrived at the Mind-Made Adventure Park Paradise to try out the ATV trails after getting trained at the ATV Training Center. He knew he could do it. He actually had a blast, and he took some great pictures which he posted on Facebook. He also realized he wanted to come back to Knott County a month later to participate in the trail ride events that were held from May 4th through May 6th. So he marked his calendar to remind himself to come back to Knott County in the near future, since it was currently April. Mr. Wilson actually heard about Knott County's Mind-Made Adventure Park from the KnottCountyAdventure.com website when he began planning his trip to Knott County. and he actually found this place really intriguing, so he decided to give it a shot. 3 hours later, Mr. Wilson arrived at the Knott County Sportsplex, where he played a 5-on-5 basketball game with locals from Knott County. He also worked out in the fitness center. This is a social media review that stimulated Mr. Wilson's interest in the Sportsplex. Here, the previous traveler highlights in the first sentence that this Sportsplex is an amazing recreational facility. A few hours later, Mr. Wilson left the Knott County Sportsplex and headed back to the Buckhorn State Resort Park. There, he noticed that there was a huge stuffed elk mounted to the fireplace in the lobby. He soon found out that Eastern Kentucky is famous for elk viewing, and the front desk attendant recommended that Mr. Wilson visit the South Fork Elk View in Breathitt County and the Knott County Elk View Station. After a great rest, at 4 a.m. the next day, Mr. Wilson ventured to the Knott County Elk View Station at the Mind Made Adventure Park, where one can stand on one of the highest points in the area to look for elk, and he actually arrived here at 5 a.m. About 2 hours later, he headed to the South Fork Elk View in Breathitt County. In Knott County, he was very lucky to snap a picture of an elk, and he was blown away by this experience that he called his girlfriend to tell her. And he also posted a status on Facebook saying, "I am taken aback by the beautiful elk I just saw in Knott County's Elk View Station." At 9 a.m., after all that elk viewing, Mr. Wilson sat down for breakfast in his resort's dining hall in Perry County. He decided to order a meal that would fill him up, and by the end of his meal, Mr. Wilson walked out with a potbelly. After eating his meal, he went upstairs, packed his clothes, and checked out of the resort at 11 a.m. to head home. Although Mr. Wilson had a great time, this wouldn't have been possible without the opinions of previous travelers. Mr. Wilson was not aware of these destinations within Perry, Breathitt, or Knott County until he viewed online reviews by previous travelers via Yelp, TripAdvisor, and Google Local, such as these. According to the 3 authors I sourced below, 3 strategies for homegrown reinvention in small rural communities include place-based development, economic gardening, and creativity and talent cultivation. I actually brought these 3 points up previously. I just want to say that I agree with these 3 authors' recommendations, but after researching about the vast array of cultural assets in the CRAD region and actually living the life of a tourist, I could also see that local businesses in these regions could benefit from advertising through social media. These 4 steps above I feel can serve as the next steps to strengthen businesses' economic development strategies in the long run. For one, technological adaptation of social media sites such as Yelp, Facebook, and Google Local, and also TripAdvisor can really benefit a business, as well as training these individuals, old and young, to actually access it and use it on a daily basis. Secondly, a culture of partnerships is really beneficial to a business because businesses working together makes work easier and you can piggyback off of each other's ideas. Third, encouraging people to write online reviews is very beneficial as well. Putting a simple comment on a pamphlet or receipt saying, "Comment on our business, write a review, we really enjoyed your company or stay," these simple comments and remarks really make the customer feel like the business owner values their time and their actual participation in the business. And fourth, advertising and outreach are lacking in Kentucky. Businesses need to market more to north, south, east, and west because only 34% of travelers to Kentucky remember seeing any type of advertising of destinations to Kentucky or any promotions. So this is a really beneficial factor. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation and got something out of it. And I just want you to know that I value you taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to my presentation. And with that said, here's my list of references. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment at the bottom of my YouTube video. I really appreciate you again for listening. Thank you. Have a great day.